What's cracking, fellas? So we're back with Mold to Zero. The last time we did this was right before Zendikar Rising got released. It's been a very long time. We were planning on doing some other episodes. I remember we actually had one planned specifically talking about Walking Dead, but that we got really busy during that time, and also editing takes a while for me. So if I do relevant things like that, it won't come out in time. Anyways, we're back. I'm joined by Chris and Evan, just like last time. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hey everybody, it's Chris, your favorite Nathaniel Brown knockoff. I'm joined by Evan Jensen.
Yep, here I am. My name is Evan Jensen. I was here last time, and I'm here to talk about magic
Yeah.
and chew bubblegum.
Are you all out of
And
bubblegum,
all out of
Evan?
magic.
Honestly,
All magic.
no,
A
we
lot
have
of
too
patience
much
for Wizards of the
magic.
Coast.
So we'll get into the sheer amount of magic soon. But 2020 was an eventful year for Magic. But before we get into that, we made a lot of predictions about Zendikar Rising.
Boy, did we make predictions.
And boy, did maybe like 3 of them got right. So
Yeah.
But
let's
throw
go
it at the
with
wall, send it to the stick.
we don't remember all of them. And anyone in the comments who, if you want to go back from our last podcast and tell us everything we got wrong, feel free to. But I know for a fact a couple of things we said. I said that there was going to be a landfall aggro deck in Standard, and I was kind of right. The Gruul aggro deck is currently running like Brushfire Elemental and Kazandu Mammoth, but that's more just to cheese out a Great Henge faster.
And I may mention that Kazandu Mammoth was in my 3 favorite cards of the set, so that's 1 point for me.
Evan, didn't you say Lotus Cobra would see play?
Yes, I did say Lotus Cobra would see play. However, I didn't see what else was coming alongside the Cobra that really just kind of
Yeah, I think there was one card we completely failed to mention during Zendikar set review.
So we did not acknowledge the Omnath in the room, the massive hulking Jeb Bush lookalike in the room. He completely dominated Standard, and I don't even think we mentioned him at all in our podcast. I don't remember.
I just thought he was a commander card.
Yeah. I want to defend us. We looked at it. We saw 4 colors, legendary creature, and completely said, "Oh, it's just bad landfall commander," and read it off without actually
Well, we didn't say bad.
It.
I don't think any of us said bad commander.
Well, yeah, but it's just another 4-color landfall commander, whatever.
Yeah, we completely I looked at it and I didn't realize that if you have a fetch land, he replaces himself instantly and cantrips, and just
very busted.
Does a lot.
Other things
I think we overrated both modal double-faced cards and the new land cycle. I remember saying there's no reason to just take out basics from your deck and replace them all with every single modal double-faced card you can play. And that has definitely not happened.
I've been trying that with certain ones on Arena. Like, I remember I've tried for a little bit replacing some of my islands and Merfolk with the blue Mythic MDFC, and it sucks.
See, that's the one modal double-faced card that's actually seeing play is the Mythic Cycle that you can pay 3 to come in untapped. Because that's something we didn't emphasize enough, I think, was how much of a drawback a land always coming in tapped is. There's a reason you don't see Guild Gates have any play in Modern.
I will say, in Standard, the Pathways are seeing play. Pathways have been fine in Standard.
It's a good dual land cycle for Standard, but you really don't see. They're not strictly better basics in formats like Modern and stuff. Not being able to tap for 2 colors.
Though, to be fair to MDFCs, it did make a a landless deck in Modern and Pioneer. That is actually
that's true. It did birth the Oops All Spells archetype that we kind of almost talked about, but not really in the way that we thought it would come together.
Chris, gonna put you on the spot. You very, very overrated Jwari Disruption.
Okay, these 2 have been giving me shit about Jwari Disruption for probably 2-3 months now, and I will say I was way too high on the card. That's true.
To be fair, we were all too high on Ondu Inversion. We thought that card was going to be like Control All-Star. But
I'm not sure it sees any play. I will defend the point that it's a really good commander card.
Oh no, Ondu Inversion's I've been playing in Commander, I have it in my Haktos deck, and it does genuine work. I think
Yeah, like if I'm in mono white, I will always run onto inversion.
I think MDFCs are phenomenal, like at their best in Commander, especially Balagad Recovery. That's a card we also didn't talk about. Like I think we mentioned it when talking about it, but we didn't mention how like it's genuinely one of the best cards for Commander released last year.
I definitely would not at all go that far, considering we had Jeweled Lotuses and the like. But it's definitely very good.
We'll get to those cards. We'll get to those.
Speaking of Commander cards that released this year, we had a lot of cards, many of them related to Commander, in the year of Commander in 2020. What is the complete list of products this year, Nathaniel?
Shit. So, I forgot that this was supposed to be the year of Commander. I'm gonna be fully honest.
How could you forget?
I don't know.
It's plastered everywhere.
Yeah, there was so much Commander stuff this year.
Yeah, God, don't worry. I'll get to that too. I have a lot to say about Commander this year. But, so there was basically two main categories of products this year. We had our normal products, and these are things that like feasibly you could have seen throughout in a normal year of Magic. Though this year we had so much of it. And then we had secret layers. So our non-secret layer products, and I think I'm actually missing some. I don't know if this is the full list. I know I left like Planeswalker decks off there and things like that. But we have the Theros Beyond Death, which came with normal boosters and collector boosters, unsanctioned, mystery boosters. They had standard challenger decks this year, which I didn't know existed. Like, I knew they had them in previous years, but I didn't know that they released some for this year. We had normal boosters and collector boosters for Ikoria, Commander 2020, Signature Spellbook Chandra, an MTG Arena starter kit that I knew existed and I heard was a great product for new players, but kind of forgot about. Core Set 2021.
We aren't new players, heads up.
Yeah, no, we are not new players.
I'm in the market for it.
Core Set 2021 normal boosters and collector boosters, Jumpstart, Double Masters normal and VIP edition. I forgot VIP edition existed. Zendikar Rising, which came with normal boosters, collector boosters, and also set boosters. Zendikar Rising Commander, Commander Legends normal boosters and collector boosters, and Commander Legends Commander decks.
Don't forget Commander Collection Green.
I forgot to put that on the list. Yeah.
It's your spellbook freebies.
Yeah, Commander Collection Green as well. I more like to call that Signature Spellbook Kamigawa because 2 of the cards feature Kamigawa art.
So that's a lot of products.
That's
the elephant in the room. Is this an insane amount of products for this year? And
that's not counting secret layers.
It's not. Oh my god! Wait till we get to secret layers. But not only do we have all these products, so many of them have alternate editions.
Yes.
You have collector's boosters. You have $100 booster packs, VIP editions.
I'm surprised there wasn't a Jumpstart VIP edition.
Yeah, oh god. Wait till Jumpstart.
Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah, God. I'm excited for Modern Horizons collector boosters.
Oh god.
So
freaking
I said reprints, but anyway.
Yeah. So I have a few questions about these. I'm going to ask you guys, and I'll probably give answers for myself. How many of these products did you guys actually know, or we'll say remember released? Because I forgot quite a few actually. As you can see, I forgot to put Commander Collection Green on the list.
People like to meme about how every time you read Questing Beast, there's new text on it. And I think you could look at the product list of 2020 and say the same thing. Like, mystery boosters were this year. Like, oh my god. Like, dude. I know non-magic related things have made this year kind of wonky, but unsanctioned? Who remembers unsanctioned?
I only do because I thought unsanctioned was last year when Anthony picked it up. Because my brother Anthony picked it up for like cheap, and I ended up me and him split it, which I don't know if I ever paid him back for it, but he turned it into. I ended up turning most of it into a cube, and it was like significantly cheaper. I know it was $60 on release, and I think he found it for $45, and I thought the product was last year, and that's why it was cheaper.
And I think the problem with having this many products in a single year, everybody likes to talk about product fatigue, but I think one of the reasons you get product fatigue is not only is it hard to keep up with them, it's hard to buy all of them. I'm a cheap person, and I don't like to buy products in general, but it was nice when all I had to care about each year was, the 4 standard sets and the commander deck.
And
Now I have to worry about signature spell books,
also a
jumpstart,
couple of
mystery
supplemental
boosters,
sets.
supplemental products. I can't buy all of them, and it doesn't feel good when there's a product that I want to buy, but I can't afford to because I've already spent one on the 3 other products that released that month.
Here's the on that topic, I like signature. Like, I love signature spell books. They're probably some of my favorite products. I bought Gideon when it came out recently for Christmas. My friend gave me signature spell book Jace, and I'm ecstatic. And I keep wanting to get Chandra because like I want to complete my collection. But the problem is every time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy signature spellbook Chandra, instantly it seems like something else is coming out that's like limited time, like I can't, or like something like that, and like I can't, I haven't been able to complete it yet. When
Magic isn't cheap either. This isn't like just collecting penny cards. Magic products are pretty expensive, from like the $15 double master boosters to collector boosters being like $25. It's too much and too much money and too many products.
I always try to.
I think that's another good point that we hadn't brought up yet. Is with all of these new products, there are so many new products that have become much more expensive than usual. Some of the new products this year were Double Masters, which had $16 booster packs, and VIP Edition, which had $100 booster packs. You had Commander Collection Green, which was $90 for the regular $250. So many of this stuff isn't just new products, but it's expensive new products, and it's I personally can't afford to spend that much money on Magic the Gathering.
I wanna also mention this about Double Masters. The 3 of us in a safe, controlled environment with a bunch of our friends. So somebody we know bought a booster box of Double Masters, and we paid him to draft it. That was the most expensive draft I've ever done in my life, and I hope I never do something more expensive until I do my Chaos draft at the end of this year.
Same.
Yeah, like I really splurged to do a Double Masters draft. It was like $50-$60.
Yeah. The thing
most expensive Magic event I've ever done. Pre-releases aren't even that much.
No, like it's not as expensive as when like me and Evan at the beginning of last year went to a convention, and we spent a lot more money at the convention than I ever have on any other Magic event. I think
that was 3 packs.
Yeah,
we got 3 packs.
We got
of Magic.
3 packs compared cards. To when we went to a convention. I came home with me and Evan did sealed. I came home with a Commander Precon from 2019, specifically the Jeskai one. I had 2 or 3 fun games of Commander. I came home with also a Sensei's Divining Top and a Sylvan Library, and foil Wrath of God, Jace, Balerion. Like, compared to what I got out of an event where I think I only came with like $60 to spending $50 on the Double Masters draft, it was absurd.
Yeah, Double Masters draft did not go great for me. Pack 1, pick 1. I didn't pick it, but my pack 1 had like Ion Storm and Aether Sworn Canonist. And I'm like, well, there goes $15.
My pack 1 had, or was it pack 2? One of my packs had Dark Depths in it, but I took the Ion Storm and forced charge counters to spike Chris. That, I will say, Double Masters was a really fun draft format. I just wish it was cheaper. But like,
some more people could experience it, and I could experience it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, even if Double Masters were in stores, I probably would have gone to Full Grip and drafted it once because like, it looked like a fun draft experience. I don't think I could have ever done a second time, which is honestly, I think.
So something new, a new product that came this year, was extra Commander decks. Around Ikoria, we had Commander decks themed around the Ikoria plane. And then Zendikar Rising came out. We had 2 based around Zendikar, and Commander Legends. It got the Zendikar treatment. We got 2 more Commander decks. So, what do you guys think about the increase in number of Commander decks this year? And do you think they should do it again?
We should probably specify first. The Ikoria decks were their like traditional Commander once a year decks. Those were supposed to be the like big decks that they do once a year. They just decided to theme it around Ikoria. Personally, I'm not a big fan of their big, like, once-a-year decks being themed around a plane. Like, I can understand theming the commanders and the mechanics around a plane. That's cool. But don't make every new card themed around that plane. And also, you can release commanders with the mechanics from that set from different planes. But that's besides the point. Personally, I'm of the opinion that I like the, like, Zendikar and the Commander Legends decks. They are $20, and everyone are saying that they're being packed full of amazing reprints, and everyone is saying that these are great places for new players to jump into Commander. And I it seems like I agree with that statement overall.
Yeah, I really like the inclusion of the $20 commander decks. They're cheap, easy. You get good reprints like Sig and Omnath,
Those
and
are
it's just
insane.
like it's a grand slam. And if someone wants to buy, I know there's more like made for commander cards in the big $40 one, but if you want those cards, then you get the. It's nice that you have both. They haven't abandoned one or the other. You can always just have both. That's really good.
I
Yeah.
think what the Zendikar and Commander Legends Commander decks have showed me is that they can make good products that are a good value and have fun gameplay for relatively cheap.
Yeah.
They kept bumping up the regular yearly Commander decks bit by bit every year. They're like, what, $35, $40 now?
$40 now.
And they've shown me that they can. I'm never gonna go back to buying a $40 commander.
Did you
deck.
ever buy
when
a
I know that I
$40
can buy one
commander
for $20? That's just as good.
Wait, Chris, did you ever buy a $40 commander deck?
No, but I never will now. They have not won me over.
Gonna be fully honest, I probably still will because I do like the yearly commander decks, but I would prefer if they lowered the cost a bit. Because like you do technically get like a bit more out of the yearly commander decks, but and now I'm starting to expect more value packed in them if they're gonna keep the price at $40. Specifically, I want a Shockland at least, preferably
that's
all of the on-color ones.
That's the only thing that would get me to buy a yearly commander deck at this point is if they actually made the mana bases not complete garbage. Guild gates and
I have a collection of Gruul Gainlands. I have like a straight collection of them from commander decks. So, how what's our consensus? Is this too many products for the year? Did we have too many non-secret layer products this year?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
I can agree with that. How many of these did we buy? Just like I don't want like a full like counting, like rough guess. How many of these did you buy?
Well, I did the standard sets because I always do the pre-release and usually a draft or two. Beyond that, I did a double masters draft. I got Jumpstart as a gift relatively recently.
I wonder who got that for you.
And that's about it. I lied. I also did Mystery Booster draft, which, by the way, I think were the best product of the year.
God, Mystery Booster. Oh, yeah, that actually does lean into our next question. But first, so actually, while you were, I told you guys not to count, so I could count. I bought 11 of these products. I did end up with a Zendikar Rising set booster from with a Zendikar Rising set booster because our local game store would give out set boosters with the pre-release kits. Which also, pre-release kits are technically their own separate product, aren't they?
I guess so.
Yeah.
We don't need more product.
Yeah,
oh,
we
God,
really
make
don't.
the list even longer.
No, but yeah, I bought 11 of these. When considering the list is, I think, over 30 long, that's... Evan, how many, rough guess, or if you counted, how many did you buy?
Probably around somewhere between you, Nate, and Chris. Just like give roughly-ish. I got the commander deck from Korea, and I got just I don't know. There were a lot of things I bought now that I'm looking back.
Also, yeah, I do think like when they're bombarding you with so many products, you don't realize how many you're actually buying and how much money you're spending.
And speaking of being bombarded with products,
before we get to that, what's our favorite product? Non-secret layer product from this year. Which one's our favorite? I'll let Chris go first. I
just told you, it's mystery boosters. The best part of the year this year for me was definitely not any new cards. I think most of the new cards are kind of boring this year, to be honest. The highlight of this year was definitely the reprints. My two favorite products were definitely Jumpstart and Mystery Boosters. I like the reprints and double masters, but Mystery Booster not only was it reprint heavy, like you look at the list of how many $20 plus cards they reprinted, it's way more than any other product. It had a super fun draft environment, one of the most fun I ever had. And it was all in like a $5 booster pack, or was originally before supply issues. So I really think Mystery Booster is everything a Magic product should be, And that's why I think it's probably not going to happen again.
Evan, do you agree with that statement, or do you have a different favorite product?
I'm gonna go with I do love Mystery Boosters a lot, but I'm probably gonna go with Commander Legends is my favorite.
Yeah.
I love Commander is probably my favorite format. I know shock, but I like it more than like limited or historic or standard or whatever. And combining limited, which is probably my second favorite, and Commander, which is my first favorite, into one huge environment where you could pull amazing cards such as like Vampiric Tutor, as I did,
Yeah.
or Scroll Rack, or Rings of Bridehearth, or Staff of Domination. It just feels good, and then you get to play with them in a Commander match, and
Yeah.
I fell in love.
So we did a Commander Legends draft. Me and my brother bought a box, and I invited Evan and Chris over, and we split it. And Evan, we were phantom drafting, and Evan pulled for me a Vampiric Tutor, and like specifically pivoted to play with it just because it was a cool card that he wanted to play with. Commander Legends was a fun draft experience. It's definitely up there for me, though. I gotta say my favorite product this year is either Mystery Boosters, like Chris said, because I love the concept of Chaos Draft, or I had so much fun with Jumpstart when we did it the other night. I might just be saying that because it's fresh in my mind, but that was honestly a super fun experience and something I really want to do again sometime soon.
Yeah, Jumpstart was definitely packed full of reprints too. Like I got a Linvala, Evan got a
Oracle of
Moldiah. Nate got Rise of the Dark Realms. Like every single one of us came out with something that was good and valuable.
Yeah, and like right now, honestly, Jumpstar's it's still kind of expensive. Don't get me wrong, but $6 a booster pack. They're finally getting the supply issues down, so like it definitely can go lower, and it should go lower. They have said that it needs to be printed into the ground, but at the price it's currently at, I think it's a phenomenal product. And honestly, having played it multiple times, I can see it accomplished its goal. I can see a new player getting into limited because of this. All right.
Probably those three were my big three, like the Mystery Boosters, Jumpstart, and Commander Legends. Those are just I loved those. All three of them. The other ones were fine, but like these ones, man, I had so much fun.
I would have probably said Signature Spellbook Chandra because again, I just love the Signature Spellbooks, but because of all the other products released, and specifically these products we're about to talk about, I was not able to pick one up yet, and I solely blame Secret Layers for that.
Secret Layers.
There were a lot of them.
So Secret Layers.
Am I allowed to read the list, Nathan? I want to read the list.
I'll let you read the list, but do you mind if I explain what they are first?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Secret Layers were started.
You're living under a rock.
Yeah, in case you were living under a rock, they were started in December of 2019, and these were bundles of reprinted cards with unique and not really traditionally Magic art. That was like the original goal, and they all were themed around something. The prices have varied, but it seems like towards the end we're finally getting them ironed out, though watch the next one come out and I'll be fucking wrong again. In total, not including the fact that you could buy a lot of these as bundles or in different foils and non-foil versions, we had 27 Secret Layers. And there is a massive list that takes up like an entire page of our outline for this that Chris is going to read off for us.
Okay, you ready, everybody? Starting in chronological order, we have Year of the Rat, Thorough Stargazing 1 to 5, International Women's Day, Thalia, Beyond the Hellvault, April Fools, Secret Lair Ultimate Edition, The Godzilla Lands, Full Sleeves, The Tattoo Pack, Can You Feel with a Heart of Steel, The Path Not Traveled, Mountain, Go, Ornithological Studies, Prime Slime, Every Dog Has Its Day, Happy Yargle Day, Showcase, Zendikar Revisited, The Walking Dead, Extra Life 2020, Artist Series, Seb McKinnon, Happy Little Gathering, Hope You Like Squirrels, A Box of Rocks, Party Hard, Shred Harder. And that was the amount of Secret Layers in 2020.
So, there's 52 weeks in a year. If all of these were to have been released individually, we have enough, more than enough actually, to get one every other week. That's a lot.
It's too many. Too many.
What's our so let's start. I listed questions in order for a reason because they kind of flow into one another. What are our opinions on Secret Lair as a whole? Like overall entire product, ups and downs, whole 9 yards.
My opinion on Secret Lair, I do not like them. The product in general is not for me. and every time I see one, it annoys me to look at the price, and without fail, every time the price is just barely a good value
It's
for
like
the
I think
secondary market price of
normally
the
it's 10 to
cards.
20%.
Like if the total price of the cards is, $50, they're selling it for 40, and it's like the problem with secret layers, it lets WotC profit off of the secondary market value of cards, which gives them an incentive to keep prices high. Like look at Secret Layer Ultimate Edition.
Oh my god.
$200 some for some fetch lands. Why would they ever
Ultimate
reprint
edition, or
fetch
actually,
lands
yeah,
in a $4 price?
it was supposed to be $200 from WotC, right? I forgot. They said it was going to be about as much as an anthology. I almost
But
forgot
you know
about
what I'm
that.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
why would they ever reprint fetch lands in a $4 booster to make them, $8 each when they can keep them at $30 and sell them all together, 5 pieces of cardboard for $200?
So the overall, when it comes to Secret Lair, I like some of them. I understand the complaints with the product, and I can understand people who don't like it, but I do like just unique magic art. I bought like a set of altar sleeves for my Kumena deck that are like out there and don't look like normal magic cards because I think they look really cool. And a lot of these cards are things that I would buy like I've been wanting to buy anyways for a deck, and if I can get them for about 20%, 10 to 20% lower than what normally cost and have amazing art, why wouldn't I? There are some that I very much disagree with. Secret Lair Ultimate Edition was the intended price point was awful, and the actual price point it ended up at was awful. Secret Lair April Fools makes me sad to think about. If you don't know, those two were the secret layers that instead of ordering them online for a limited time, like all secret layers are supposed to be, they sent those to local game stores, but not in very high or equal amounts. Specifically, I wasn't going to pick up Ultimate Edition no matter what. I just can't afford that. But I was looking to pick up Secret Lair April Fools. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm a massive Tybalt fan. Like he's not even one of. He's my favorite character in all of Magic's history. And there was a white bordered Tybalt in the April Fool's Secret Lair. Our local game store got one copy of it. Like, but there are quite a few of these I actually bought, and I like there are quite a few of these I think were great. I like the charity layers, International Women's Day and Extra Life. I think those I want them to do that next year for different charities or Extra Life again. I'd love to see that. Artist series are great. I'm liking those, and overall, I think the product was really like down throughout most of the year, but there are some changes made in this last bundle that were really helpful. For one, you don't have to pay for your bundle until it ships, and they'll send you an invoice and they say, "Hey, would you still like to pay for this? And would you still like this product?" And two, um, that one they also made in this last bundle, instead of like each drop in the bundle being available for one day, all of them of 2 weeks you had to order them, and I liked that a lot more. But there were some really rough patches with this product throughout the year.
What about you, Evan? What do you think?
So I've probably bought more secret layers out of all of you guys.
I think you have.
Personally, I like the product a lot. I think it's cool. I like the bringing in new people, like giving a nice spin on like magic card art. However, there's a caveat. These cards should be available, like readily available without their art, because I like the art part of it. Like the reprint thing is nice, but why not have both where you get a nice card art on the card and you can get the normal version, it's readily available. For instance, the fetch lands. I would have no problem with the fetch land secret lair if we could have them readily available, so you don't need to pay the premium for just you're paying for the art.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
true.
just like I don't
Honestly, I think
I like secret layers.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I like secret layers as a product. I think they're cool. I think they're a little, I don't know, a little dirty. Wizards like skipping the secondary market to directly sell customers. But I think that I don't know. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I bought the the 5 color kaleidoscope killers in November, and then I bought You're the Rat. Then I got uh, I stopped for a while, but then they got me right back with Prime Slime. Then I got The Walking Dead at all costs because that thing's terrible.
You forgot Yargle Day.
And Yargle Day Extra Life, and then I can never forget about Yargle. And then finally, Party Hard and Seb. And I like looking at the cards, but man, they should really be cheaper. Like the normal version.
So that actually does lead us into our next question. So Evan, you just mentioned how many you buy. Chris, you didn't buy any, did you?
I have not, and hopefully I stay strong enough to not ever buy one.
Didn't you say you were really considering Party Hard Shred Harder?
Party Hard. I was on the website for Party Hard Shred Harder. I was looking at it. Okay, the day of the Secret Lair drop, I was hovering over the add to cart button, but the whole product is just too sleazy for me. They're selling us secondary. They're taking advantage of the secondary market, selling us singles. The whole 24-hour drop thing is just manipulative. The whole thing leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I can't get behind the business practice personally.
That's fully understandable. I'm happy you're strong-willed because unlike me, I can't speak for Evan, but unlike me, I'm weak-minded. Yeah. So I bought this year I bought Theros Stargazing 4, I think was the red one. I can't remember the exact number. I almost bought Thalia, but I only need one copy of her. So I bought Secret Lair, the red Theros, Prime Slime because that lair was practically made for me. Extra Life 2020. My brother bought me Artist Series 7 McKinnon for a gift, and I got myself Party Hard Shred Harder. So in total, like 5, 4, depending how you count, which my brother buying one for me.
I counted 6 for me.
So they're each like $30-ish, right?
30 to 40. The Extra Life was 60.
So you paid $150 for 15 cards. I'm not judging you personally. I understand the appeal. But if I have $150, I want more than 15 cards.
I fully understand that. Yeah, no, I definitely see. I know I shouldn't support this product, right? Like this product stands against a lot of what I think Magic should be, but I like it.
But shiny.
Yeah, like I try to actually avoid buying the foils whenever I can. Like if I remember my brother asked me, "Do you want foil or non-foil of Seb McKinnon?" And I said, I looked at him. I said, am I ordering Pringles?" Like I try to avoid buying the foils whenever I can because
cardstock quality is a whole nother thing.
I feel like we could also have a podcast episode just about quality of cards. Like I know I can go on about it for ages, but that is all. Maybe that's a point we can bring up later in the episode. So there's there's an elephant in the room for Secret Lair, and you guys have probably exhausted this. How do we feel? We're gonna actually make a podcast episode about it. I remember we talked about it, and then it didn't happen. How do we feel about Walking Dead Secret Lair? We're not talking about crossovers in Magic, just mechanically unique cards in Secret Lair.
The Walking Dead Secret Lair, I am going to have to try to keep my opinions as brief as possible because, like you said, this could be a whole nother episode. It's bad. I don't like it. They shouldn't sell mechanically unique cards in a Secret Lair. They shouldn't do mechanically unique crossover cards because who knows when those can be reprinted, legally with copyright reasons. And okay, I'm gonna mention. I know you said I shouldn't, but I'm gonna say it. The Walking Dead is not a series that I ever want to be associated with Magic the Gathering. I want Magic the Gathering to use its own worlds and its own things, and not make Rick Steadfast Leader. Use Odric or something. I don't like it. I don't.
I believe that's the general consensus. I don't like it. Okay, don't get me wrong. I liked the Godzilla crossovers. Godzilla isn't even my cup of tea, but I overall liked it because I figured there's quite a few people who are ecstatic about that, and I thought some of the Godzilla cards looked really cool. But mechanically unique crossover cards that makes me almost upset as Kaldheim spoilers have been making me. Actually, probably more upset. Which we are doing a Kaldheim episode, right, guys? Like.
Oh God! Just you wait till the Kaldheim episodes. There will be opinions.
Once with the last thing, shame on me. Shame on you. Pardon me. Fool me twice with Nexus of Fate. Shame on me. fool me 3 times with these secret rare Walking Dead, and I'm just furious, you know.
And I'm mad.
Like I
I'm
remember,
mad.
honestly, I don't. As much as I would have loved the clicks and the attention from posting a podcast episode about Walking Dead, I am overall happy we didn't, because at the time, like, I'm able to look back on it with a bit more of a clear head, and I'm still absolutely furious about it. But I'm not like slamming my desk like.
The community was in a dark place.
Yeah, it like I'm overall very
It was in a
happy
dark place.
looking at like things that came from that, like Captain and things like that. I'm overall very happy we did not. I didn't post a video about it.
See, there's just not much to say about The Walking Dead at this point. It was something that everybody hated. It made a ton of money, and they're almost certainly going to do it again.
God,
so
made
you just kind of have to live with it at this point.
That's
a lot
pretty
of magic,
much
really.
That's pretty much my opinion. Is we just have to live with it. It sucks, but how would
I hate.
This is our last point about secret layers, and this is one I actually really want to talk about, because I don't even think I've asked you guys this like in person. Like, some of these we've already shared a lot of our opinions. Like, we talk a lot, obviously. We're very good friends.
The time.
How?
All the time.
Yeah, constantly. Literally, we're in a very heated discussion earlier today. How would we fix the secret layer product as a whole?
Don't have it at all. Realistically, my actual answer, I don't like the idea of Wizards selling us singles, period. But if I have to live with that, really just take away the 24-hour restriction. That does nothing but try to get people to impulse buy, and it's just manipulative. Just get rid of the 24, put it on your website. You know, I'm not saying it has to be there forever. I understand maybe printing presses need to switch, but just like keep it up for like a month, a week, even. Like, you know.
So this I want to reiterate, and I don't think enough people have been talking about this, because secret layer just in general does get a lot of negativity. But this last bundle, I do think, did a very good job by having all 6 of the drops staying up for 2 weeks at a time, along with being able to buy the bundles of all of them for the entire 2-week window, along with not having to be billed instantly. It essentially like reserving a copy and deciding later if you actually want it, I think is another amazing addition to the product. I hope they continue that trend. I don't like the secret layers that get sent to the stores, because the only 2 we have had are the Ultimate Edition 1, which we're getting another one this year, and April Fool's. And I had high hopes for April Fool's. I wanted that one really bad, even before Tybalt was put in it. But if you're sending 1 copy to local game stores, what the fuck?
See, I don't see that as a problem of the secret lair product. That's just Wizards being Wizards. Plus, this year has been for not unknown reasons, it's been kind of crazy with supply.
Yeah, so, I do understand. I can understand. Like, I think April Fool's was a supply issue, but again, it still doesn't make me happy. I just don't. If you want, decide whether you want your product on your website or in the store. It's weird to have both.
Personally, I think both can do. However, Wizards, this is not Wizards' first time selling us singles through a local game store. Like, the product it replaced from the vault did the exact same thing.
True.
Premium cards, they were $40. You know, you just pick up from the vault. You've got all the cards there. So I think that we can send some to the local game stores, and if they want to sell them, that's fine. And we have some online, and we make it much less of a blink and you'll miss it type of thing. You know, give us a really long time to process whether we want to buy it or not, and that'll help the singles market. And you can support your local game store, and it's really, I don't know, it's just a win-win. It's like just normal reprints. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, send more than, because I think the maximum for Ultimate Edition was 10 copies to very large game stores. Like, I think Star City Games, Channel Fireball got 10 copies. Send more than 10 copies to stores.
It's just ridiculous.
Like, that's absurd, and that you had to be a large store, like a national Star City Games. I think for Ultimate Edition, I think our the 1 copy our store got still on the shelf. It hasn't sold.
It's like, okay, there's no reason that you have to, you know, ration out your secret layers of 5. Is it 10 cards maybe?
5 cards was
5
Ultimate
cards.
Edition.
Yes.
We'll
see.
They have.
There's no reason they couldn't just print a million billion jillion, because I know it's going to be super popular. Print just a ton and a ton and a ton. Make sure that everybody's fully stocked with them, and make sure that you keep the price a little bit more than $170.
We will see how Ultimate Edition 2 goes. It's supposed to be the 10 pathways, which are not anywhere near as popular and desired as fetch lands. And they have said that they're going to give more stock, but they haven't given specifications. So we will see if the feedback like Ultimate Edition got actually is taken into account. Because personally, I actually like the pathways. And
I'm taking bets. How much is a Secret Lair Ultimate Edition 2 going to cost?
$100. I'm guessing $100. They're gonna try to market it as a Commander anthology, but pathways aren't anywhere near as desired, so I'm guessing it's gonna be $100.
I was about to say less than the normal MSRP, but that doesn't exist anymore, which is part of a big problem. But anyway, it's another episode. Probably like $100 ish.
Leaving the
My
comments.
guess is they're going to have it be $100, but supply issues are going to make it be like $150.
Yeah, I could see that too. Leave in the comments which one of our topics that we said that could be another episode you actually want to hear an episode about.
Because if you've made it this far,
we've already said like 3 or 4. So okay, let's stop bitching about Secret Lair.
Move on from the Secret Lair debacle.
What 40 minutes into the episode? Individual cards and mechanics. There were some cool cards released this year. There were a lot of new stinkers, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't like from this year. But overall, there was quite a few cards that I liked a lot. And I actually had a trouble. Each of us picked 3 of our favorite cards, and we're going to go one by one, talking about it and why we like it a lot. I'll let Chris go first, mostly because you're far left in our Discord call.
Okay. So my first favorite card that they printed this year was Luminous Broodmoth. That's the moth that whenever a creature you control without flying dies, returns to the battlefield with a flying counter on it.
Yeah, it'll be up on screen.
Flying.
Okay, yeah, you should see it on the screen. I think that white really does not get much love. I know that's a controversial opinion.
Oh my god, Chris, what are you talking about? Blue and green need much more attention than white. They suck.
Right? And white really doesn't get much out of its bread and butter of tokens and life gain. So anytime I see an actually innovative design that fits in white that's actually good, that sticks out in my mind. Like, can you tell me how many cards like Luminous Broodmoth have been printed this year that are mono white, good, and unique?
And no.
Not many.
I can't even think of a lot of unique mono white cards.
Exactly. And so points to Luminous Broodmoth for being a good white card that is also unique.
So just because I'm in the middle of our Discord call, I'm gonna go next. My first card, and if you guys have been longtime viewers of my channel, you would recognize this card. It's Gallia of the Endless Dance. I saw this card and I really, really wanted. I love tribal decks, right? And this
makes my balls quake.
This card makes my balls quake. I love this card. It has pretty art. Joanna Voss is probably one of my favorite Magic artists. A lot of it due to her work this year. I'm excited for her Secret Lair next year. But like, I love it. It gives satyrs +1/+1, and I'm gonna be honest, it's not even that bad in just a Gruul swingy deck. Like, that's where it sees play in Historic in Gruul aggro, just because the attack trigger. It's a 2/2 haste. I just like the card a lot. Personal favorite of mine from this year.
That's one of those fun cards that hits the realm of being playable, being good without being obnoxious, which is a mark that's seemingly difficult for WotC to hit recently. So shout out to Gallia.
One of my favorite draft experiences I ever had was when I was drafting like a Gruul deck in Theros, and like pack 2 I had Gallia, and the deck shifted to literally Satyr Tribal, and I think I went like 2-1 or 3-0. I did really well that draft. That's one of my favorite experiences ever. Go ahead, Evan.
My number 3, it's a very splashy spell, which I love splashy spells. It's a Nyxbloom Ancient. It's from the beginning of the year, which feels like eons ago. Theros Beyond Death.
Does not feel like 2020.
It's the nice tripling mana whenever you tap for something. Elemental? No, I don't know.
It's an
something.
elemental.
I just think it's really cool. I didn't think they could ever do that, which also goes into the one that triple the damage. But just it feels so over the. Sure, I'm not going to use all the mana probably, but it's such a cool card. Now, if I'm playing against Yurlock, I'll probably cry, but that's it's such a cool card, and I'm glad that they finally printed something because I thought double was extreme, like a Zendikar Resurgent, but nope, we're doing triple. It's over the top, and I love it.
Just wait until blue. Like I feel like this one day might be like a full cycle, right? Because we or like a super cycle because we have the green triple mana. We now have red triple damage. Yeah, sadly, white's probably gonna get triple life gain, but I can't wait.
God.
Or white could get triple tokens. I could see that too.
Yeah.
But I cannot wait
for
and
blue
one of the, to get triple card draw. Oh
my God. So one of the experiences I had, I remember it really well. I went against someone and they dropped an Nyxbloom Ancient and they had they had an island open. And I attempted to cast something and they like countered my spell with one island. I was blown away. It was like a 3-mana counter spell, but I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's powerful, you know? Because I tried to destroy it, but it was just...
I remember, I think Nyxbloom Ancient, like, I don't know if it's out, like, real play, but I remember I would see decks every once in a while. They were, like, elemental decks running it at the very top end on Arena.
That's what I like about Nyxbloom Ancient, is, like, if you have it in play, it's really, really strong, but you definitely have to be doing something wacky and funny with it, because if you're really just trying to win by cheating out a fatty, there are, like, a million better options, and if you're just trying to cast it for 7 mana, there are a million better options. So if you're playing it, you're just being a meme
love it.
Deck, and that's funny.
All right. I think we're all in agreement. Nyxbloom Ancient is just one of the best cards released this year. Like in
that like is once again quite an exaggeration, but I do really like it.
not best as in good, best as in we like it. But Chris, what's your next option?
What do I have next? So I kind of cheated here. I picked the Nyx lands. Yeah, that's right. I picked 5 basic lands as my favorite cards from this year.
I agree with you, though.
It's cards of Magic.
Maybe that says a lot about the cards that were released in 2020. But I know a lot of people call the Nyx lands Pokemon energy, and I can see it. I just think they're funny, and I really just loved going to Theros drafts and just slowly amassing a collection of them to use one day as draft lands. Like they make me feel good to use, and they look good to use, and I like them.
I drafted Theros more than any other set for 2 reasons. 1, I needed more Nyx lands, and 2, it was a really fun format. But it was more than Nyx lands that drove me to the drafts.
And 3, that was like the only time the game store was open this year.
True.
Exactly. That was our last pre-release in store.
That is insane to think about. But yeah, I honestly agree with you. I do think the Nyx lands were... I know people dislike them, but I love them. I run them in as many decks as I can.
I really like the uniqueness of them. And most lands are just lands. These lands are stars.
It's so cool. Actually,
that's wacky.
The reason why I have like a lot of my stuff be stars or constellations, like my channel profile picture is like an S and exclamation point made in kind of like a constellation looking thing. It's because while I had the Nyx lands on my mind while making all of that stuff, so I just put stars as part of my channel. So my next card is no one really this card holds a special place in my heart. It's Umori the Collector. You might sometime in April be seeing a deck tech revolving around Umori the Collector, but it's just, I like this card a lot. I don't think Companion was a good mechanic overall, but I really, really liked its implications in Commander, because the restriction matters so much more in a singleton 100-card format. I love this card with all my heart. Currently, I have an Umori Grakmaw deck built that is so much fun. I'm building Ooze Tribal with it, and I think after I finish my Ixalan themed decks, like one day very far down the line, I might try to build every possible Umori deck. So it'd be artifacts, enchantments, planeswalkers, creatures.
Lands.
You can't have a land as a commander. That is the problem.
One day, Nathan. One day you'll be able to. They'll just add the text "can be your commander" at the end of just like a forest or something.
Oh my god, that'd be funny. But
your commander in Commander Legends with the Predator.
I wish the Predator actually made it in the set. That would have been funny. But that's we can talk about old card designs on some other day. We could just have like a miscellaneous day for our podcast. Just talk about whatever we wanted to.
God. Nonsense day.
Yeah, Evan, what's your second card?
So this is a card I mentioned in Zendikar Rising. I'm just on the cusp. It's like one of the white whales I'm chasing. So I'm either chasing Reaper King, Mogus, and now Kumano. And this is a mono red card because all my cards are mono red in Zendikar. Leyline Tyrant. It's a pretty efficient body. So I believe it's a 4/4/4.
Yeah, it's 4/4
flyer.
And I mean, it's a mythic. It can't have mediocre stats.
It's not a questing beast. Oh, see no standard play. But anyway, basically it stores your mana as like a crew fix like effect, and I'm a big fan of that. And not only that, but when it dies, you can use all that mana and not lose it. You can fireball something, and I'm just a really big fan of the card. I like storing mana. I like that kind of feel like, commutative mana storing, and then I can finally fire a bunch of fire with whatever, It's just, I really like the card, and it was my pre-release promo, funnily enough. So
yeah, it was.
I was pretty happy.
You made out like a bandit that pre-release. That you did amazing.
Oh yeah.
Funny, there was actually I think 2 cards released this year that lets you store your mana like that. There was the Horizon Stone and Leyline Tyrant. It would be cool if one day, because like we have Omnath, the original Omnath for green mana. It'd be cool if one day we see an effect like that in every color.
Why would you want to give an effect to every color?
That is true. That's very true. I don't really know what whites would do, to be honest, and that technically is allowed.
Tokens.
Store your life.
Yeah,
life gain.
Store your life.
Yeah, that's technically.
Store your life.
Your life doesn't change at the end of your turn, thank God.
Yeah.
That's technically ramping in white too, so that's not allowed.
Oh yeah. Chris, honestly though, what I like about Leyline Tyrant is it gives red a red way to do an effect like ramping,
Yeah.
Red has gotten a lot better in Commander, at least my main format, in the past like 5-ish years, and it's because of cards like Leyline Tyrant that make it good without completely breaking its color pie. And I wish they'd give some of that Leyline Tyrant love to white.
Me too. We did get Keeper of the Accord, which is a phenomenal card.
But... Yeah, it's okay.
They did get the one card from or one card per year. Smothering Tithe.
That was last year.
Yeah, Smothering Tithe was pretty good.
Yeah.
Just saying, I'm reminiscing.
Chris, what's your last? God, I wish we could get a Smothering Tithe, the reprint every year. Chris, what's your last card?
My very last card is Felidar Retreat. Speaking of white, did I mention that white sucks? Because I don't think I've said that enough this podcast.
Oh man, no, I think white
is not very good. White usually in like 1v1 formats does weenies. They do small boys. They attack. They're bad mono red. But the problem with weenies is they completely fold to wraths. What I love about Felidar Retreat is it's good in pretty much all stages of the game. If it's a wrath and you need to rebuild your board, you landfall, make a 2/2 token. If you're ahead and you have a big board, landfall, give all your stuff vigilance and a +1/+1 counter. Like, whether you're winning or you're losing, it does something really good. And I think we need pushed white cards. I wouldn't really call this pushed, but good-ish. White cards like this, if we want to see white be a player in formats like Standard anymore, which it's definitely struggling. Yeah, sorry, I just really like the power level and the overall utility of the card.
I think Felidar Retreat's phenomenal. I pulled a showcase one, and I've been running in a lot of like my white decks, which I haven't been playing much recently. But like the cards in All Star and like my Hakdos deck that I've run, even though like I have noticed sometimes in Boros or mono white, it is just hard to make those land drops. It's difficult, but if you can, it's amazing. What you were saying, something, Evan?
No, I'm just saying it's something. It's better than just dropping a land and passing your turn. It gives you a blocker, or you can,
pump your board,
buff your team.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, it's definitely flood protection in aggro decks.
I do like it a lot. So my last card, and definitely my favorite card released of this year, Evan and Chris, this is gonna be a big shock to you guys, but it's Lutri the Spell Chaser.
Never would have guessed.
He never would have guessed.
What does Lutri do, Nate? I don't know what that card does. I've never heard
Lutri makes any deck a commander. Lutri is okay. Lutri makes any deck a commander deck in any format, which isn't why I like it. I don't like it. It is it, and I do like its normal effect. It's just bad Dualcaster Mage, and I love Dualcaster Mage, and I just like is it a lot. It's technically banned in Commander, but it's because of its companion effect. It's way too strong to just give every deck playing blue or red a free card, or blue and red a free card. That's absurd. But we've rule zeroed. My play group and Evan and Chris and a bunch of other people have decided it is okay for me to run as my commander. And I'm gonna be honest, what drew me in, even if this wasn't the play style that I normally play, I just really, really, really like otters, and I'm so happy that they're in Magic. Like, Thieving Otter, Aeon Frolicker, those two cards make me ecstatic, and Lutri is my favorite out of all of them because it does things I already like to do. What, Evan?
Sorry, I was about to make the funny Chameleon Colossus.
Shut up. No, shut.
Chameleon Colossus is probably the best otter in Magic right now.
Before Lutri, it technically wasn't an otter because that wasn't a creature type yet. But
I guess.
Still.
I can still make the joke.
I know. Shut up. I still just I love this card. He's cute. He does what I want to do. My girlfriend made me a plush of it for Christmas. If that says how much I like the card, there's not much more to say about it other than just he's an otter and he does what I want to do. I like it a lot.
It could have been a functional reprint of Scornful Egotist that had the creature type otter on it and funny art, and Nate would have loved it.
Honestly, yes. I play Thieving Otter in my Lutri deck just because it's an otter. Which isn't
true, he does.
I do. I joke around and say the deck's Otter Tribal, just because it's running all three of Magic's Otters. I like this card a lot. It makes me happy. But that's my soapbox about Otters. Evan, what's your last card?
I'm on a soapbox about a different thing. I happen to be I'd call myself a Vorthos-ish. I like this Magic story. It really draws me in, and I just read the Lorwyn story, I don't know, not too long before. This card was spoiled this year, and I freaked out, a lot.
Evan rode this high for a month.
I did. It made me so happy. It made 2020 maybe just a little worth it. And it was Kolphnor, the last you. He's a tree folk, which is one of my favorite tribes, and it's a 3/7 for 5, I believe. But
yeah,
his effect, it basically returns creatures whenever of lesser toughness whenever he dies or any other creature dies, and it's really Kolphnor. He's a wise tree folk, and we didn't see him for years. The only thing we've ever had to represent him is Kolphnor, a terrible Magic card. So
you cut out for a second. Can you repeat that? What was the only card to represent him?
Kolphonor's Plans. It's like a terrible would never run unless you're in a Blim deck.
It'll be on screen.
Yeah. Kolphnor, I'm happy to see him finally. He's needed a card 8, and he fit right into my Doran deck, which I had just been building, and it just makes me so happy thinking about him. I love Kolphnor.
So Evan bought the Lorwyn, Morningtide, Shadowmoor, Eveningtide. He bought all those books and has been letting me borrow them. And while Kolphnor was when Kolphnor was spoiled, I also just happened to be reading Lorwyn at that time because he was letting me borrow them. And I also popped the hell off because Kolphnor is an amazing character. He is batshit crazy. Dude's insane and I love it.
Yeah, I have never read a Magic story, so I have no strong opinions one way or the other. I do know that the Sapling of Kolphnor, what was the name of that card?
Yeah.
That was my random commander for that one episode of Particularly Screwed, so Kolphnor gets props from me.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was funny. My only complaint about Kolphnor as a card, and I feel like I have to bring this up any time I'm talking about Kolphnor, I wish he had Death Touch. That's my only complaint.
That would make sense.
It would have been a lot more flavorful for him. Like replace Reach or replace Vigilance even with Death Touch, and he would have been just on point, like right on the nose. But it's okay. I still love him.
Sure.
So, our last thing that we're going to talk about for the new cards, or it's from cards this year, is reprints. There was a lot of really, really good reprints this year, and we all picked one reprint from this year to talk about. Chris, again, you happen to be left, so go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, so my reprint for this year is Enchanted Evening. Enchanted Evening was like $20-something for a very not great effect. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. There are definitely decks that use it, but it's not a $20+ effect. And then Mystery Boosters came along and reprinted it in the foil slot, and now it's like $1, $2. And I picked this card not specifically because I really, really like enchantments or something, but it is exactly what I think they should be aiming to reprint, is cards that are cool, that are fun, that are way too expensive only because of the fact that they were printed at rare or mythic in like a 10-year-old set. Like, the only reason Enchanted Evening was $20+ was because it was a rare in what, Morning Tide, or
I think it was
Shadowmoor.
It was
Shadowmoor.
Shadowmoor.
Yeah, so it was an old set and it had somewhat high demand. That's the only reason it was so expensive. You'd also put here the 3-mana tutor from M21. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, that.
I should pick that one, but no, I'm still happy with my pick. But yeah.
So I just think it's a really good example of the kind of reprints I think they should be aiming for in the future.
Mystery Booster foils really did bring down the price. Like, Send Triplets has been destroyed. It used to be insanely expensive. Between that and Double Masters, it dropped drastically in price.
Yeah, stuff like Greater Gargadon and Amulet of Vigor. Like, just give me that stuff.
But none of those are my reprint. My actual reprint this year is Lightning Greaves, actually. So this card wasn't just reprinted once this year. This card was reprinted 3 times this year in Mystery Boosters, Commander 2020, and Double Masters. And it needs to be reprinted like 3 times every year at Uncommon, because it's still a $3 card. This card is amazing in Commander. I run it in a lot of decks because I tend to build decks very, very focused around my commanders. Like, my Obika deck, my Shirai deck, those fall apart without my commanders. I need those on board. So I always love just having the Greaves lying around, and I try to pick up as many copies as I can. Plus, Double Masters gave the really cool art version that I still need to buy. It's like $13, and I need to get one for probably Obika or something. Whatever deck I feel like pimping out.
Right. So my reprint is very similar to Chris's, Shusher. And this card is from Shadowmoor. It's a 2/2 Goblin, hybrid red, hybrid green for both. It's got 2 pips of that. It's a Goblin, and you can just green, and target spell cannot be countered. Now, I love that they're giving attention, just like Chris, to this like era of Magic, because during the time, these cards hard to find because this was during the Great Recession. So not many people were buying packs, believe it or not.
That's why.
So a lot of these cards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just saying, like, Maryland of the Morn Song is a great example of that. Like,
exactly.
It spiked
Maryland,
this year, not because everyone needs it. It's because like a few people need it, and there's not that many because of the recession. Like, they need to do Lorwyn remastered. Give us Lorwyn and Shadowmoor remastered.
Yes. So, but also with they also reprinted, and I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit, the reflection cycle, like Boon Reflection, Rage Reflection, all of those they were getting up there, and I'm just glad that they're paying attention to this era of Magic that really needed some reprints. And the only thing we're really missing, we got Reese, we got all of that stuff. The only thing we're missing is Greater Oromancy, and I'm happy with what we have, but Greater Oromancy seriously needs a freaking reprint. It's getting crazy. So hopefully 20 Triple Masters, Great Oromancy. Yeah. Let's see it happen.
Yeah, you remember when Rings of Brighthearth was like $1 billion, and now it's like 7 after Commander Legends.
That makes me so happy. There's a lot of decks I needed that for.
There's a lot of examples of reprints that they were way too expensive, and they got one reprint, and they just crashed. And I think that's one of the best things that Wizards did this year, was able to pinpoint what reprints were needed, and which ones would be the most effective to reprint against the price. So,
You know what we
shout
need
out to
now?
Wizards for that one.
We need Vidalcan Orrery. How could you have not reprinted that in the year of Commander?
Well, like, domination, which was also fifth on.
Yeah. So, last thing we're gonna talk about for like individual stuff. There weren't as many, but there were still quite a few new mechanics this year, and there was quite a few returning ones that were done well or had new takes on them. What's everyone's favorite mechanic from this year? It could be returning, new. What's your favorite?
I was quite a fan of Constellation in Theros. That's the one where something happens whenever an enchantment enters battlefield. It is not a new mechanic, and it's not a particularly, interesting design. It's not super unique, but it was so much fun and limited. Oh my gosh, it was like kind of akin to Landfall, in that you always got these effect triggering, but it was so much more varied in that sometimes you have it triggering once a turn, sometimes you have it triggering 3 times a turn, sometimes you don't have it triggering at all, sometimes you're doing it on your opponent's turn in response. It was just something about it in the Theros draft environment was just so much fun, and I really wish I could vocalize why I like it better, but it was just so much fun to play with in draft. It's probably my favorite draft experience of the year was Theros Beyond Death. Well, except Mystery Boosters. So second favorite, I guess.
I completely understand that sentiment. In pre-release, I did like Bant Enchant, or I think it was either Simic or Bant Enchant. I did something with enchantments, and like it was a big Constellation deck. I had 3 Eutropia the Twice Favoreds.
I remember that.
And it was so much fun. Honestly, I feel like Theros was just an amazing draft format, and Constellation, you can't have a Theros without Constellation, in my opinion. It's a crime not to include it.
Right.
So my favorite mechanic is modal double-faced cards. I liked them in Zendikar. There were a lot of really cool ones. Balagade Recovery slots in like every green commander deck. It's already like a $2 uncommon in a standard set. It is worth more than my entire playset of Auras, Skyclave Hierophants. So I just think the mechanic is really fun. It feels nice to be able to have like a card on one side and something else, not even just the land, because we're recording this on January 11th, in the middle of Kaldheim spoiler season, and
Kaldheim.
I'm excited for the set. I have to keep reminding myself that, because I still overall am. But anyways, that's an entire another episode that will be happening. So the just having options for what to do with your cards rather than just like, this is the card, I like it. It feels nice. It's something new. We probably won't see it often after these 3 sets, because WotC can't print double-faced cards, or doesn't print double-faced cards that often. But overall, I really like the mechanic. Morrow actually did a good job on this mechanic for once.
I'm like companion. Phyrexian mana.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love Morrow, but some things he does and comes up with I disagree with. That could literally be another episode, and I don't want to bash Morrow. Not like he would ever hear about this, but
he literally never. I'm not sure my mom's gonna hear about this.
Evan.
But with modal double-faced cards,
go ahead.
I really like the land side, because you have a card on one side and you have a land drop on the other, so it kind of minimizes mana screw, so you don't have non-games as often.
Yeah.
And what gonna get a little bit into Kaldheim here. What I like about the modal double-faced cards this year compared to Kaldheim is you have a land on one side that does nothing but tap for mana instead of 2 pushed cards on both sides. So shout out to Zendikar for doing double-faced cards right, I think.
I have noticed that. Like, we'll talk about Kaldheim when we get to Kaldheim's thing. And if you want to hear us talk about why we like modal double-faced lands, because I know I like them. Chris just mentioned you liked them. Evan, I'm pretty sure you liked them as well.
I like them a lot.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to hear us go off about why we like modal double-faced cards and lands specifically from Zendikar, go watch our Zendikar episode. It was really
that's
good.
Pretty much all we say the entire hour and a half.
We
say how good double-faced cards are.
Yeah, we just kind of jerked off double-faced cards for like an hour. Evan,
Yeah.
What's your favorite mechanic from the year?
A lot of the mechanics are cool. I'm a big fan of Encore. They did a lot of cool stuff with Encore. I know it's like the newest, like of probably all of these, but
Yeah, I
it's
think it
just
is
fresh
the
in my
newest.
mind. And I just think Encore's a really cool design. It's like Unearth, but Commander. And I know some of us may not, designing for Commander is kind of poopy, but
I think
I think it's a nice way to scale up.
Yeah, I like Encore a lot. I will actually go off very soon about designing for a commander because boy, I could do an entire podcast episode about that, but I'll be brief. But I think Encore is actually like a cool way to design for it because it's made just to scale with the game, right? It's not specifically writing commander on a card, which is something I do actually have a big problem with. But we'll get to that. We will get to that. I overall really like Encore, and I run a lot of Encore cards in my Obika deck because it interacts really well with it.
Yeah, it's a fine mechanic. I really don't have strong feelings on it one way or the other. It's fine. It's okay. I'm glad you like it though.
And I'm glad that you think it's fine, Chris.
Anytime.
Just flashy, and it's like Phyrexian Triniform or
I need to get a
Elvish
Trinifor.
Red Print or Sarah's Avatar, but Encore. I think that's really cool, and I like it a lot.
I'm continually brewing this Gerard deck that is probably never ever going to actually be finalized.
It's your Mogus or your
You
Reaper
just saying
King.
that reminded me that Phyrexian Triniform would actually be really good in that deck.
It'd be very good.
Yeah.
So there are we talked about a lot that we liked from 2020, but we are starting to notice some things. Like we've had extensive discussions about different trends we've been seeing and different design philosophies we've been noticing throughout the year. What we're gonna be brief about these because genuinely, I think all of these could make their own episode and might one day if we get bored enough. We should probably start doing this more often. But what are some trends you guys are seeing and want to talk about? Because I know you two have like, or specifically Chris have a big one he wants to be brief about.
Okay, so without jumping right into the ones that I have tons of opinions on, I'm noticing a lot of cards that do everything. You know, there are a lot of cards now that instead of doing one thing and requiring other cards to work with it to be pulled off, look at Omnath. It draws a card, it makes mana, it gains you life, and it deals damage. There's a lot of cards like that this year. Uro, he draws you cards, he gains you life, he makes your land drops, he is very big, he is recursive. There are a lot of cards that's the whole package. Elder Gargaroth, it makes tokens, it gains you life, it is a 5-mana 6/6, it draws you cards. There are so many cards this year that are engines and payoffs and threats. And I don't think that's great for the game because so many games just come down to, can you remove this? No? Okay, good game.
Notice what colors all of those have been in. All of those cards you mentioned were in green and blue. All of them. Omnath technically 4-color, but let's be real, that card is Simic at heart. If it wasn't on flavor, they would have just printed Omnath as Simic. Evan, is there anything like specifically you want to talk about before Chris and I go on our soapboxes?
Yes. The game has rules, right? And 5 colors are really I'm not gonna talk about this all day, but I'm gonna speak. There are 5 colors of Magic, and a lot of them need strengths and weaknesses. Some have more weaknesses than others. White, but I disagree with Feed the Swarm's existence. And another spell, which you'll probably see us talk about in Kaldheim.
Yeah, don't spoil that.
I disagree with it as well. So I don't like its existence. I think Black was fine without it. Meteor Golem there, and you can always run Meteor Golem, and it's expensive, but you have to pay a price, not just in life like Black normally does, but you should have a price for doing something that your color can't do. That's just my opinion. I know that's not universal. That's just me.
The trend that I see coming is they're kind of this is the main thing that I was going to talk about is the color pie and colors being able to do certain things is it's bleeding, it's dying, it's
The
kind of
pie is kind of
being expanded.
Homogenized.
somebody
you know?
took a hand mixer, like one of those like hand mixers with the whisk, and just shoved it in the middle of the color pie.
Yeah, it's like
Well, except they pulled
each
white slice
color
out
can
before they
now
mixed it.
do so many things that it never could before. Like, okay, black in particular has pretty much everything in its color pie. Okay, it has rats, it has small boys, it has big boys, it has creature removal, enchantment removal, land removal, graveyard recursion, card draw. You know, I can't
Tutoring.
really name
Rat can
anything
counter
besides
spells now.
artifact removal that black can't do. And I don't like when a color is able to do so much by itself.
So we'll probably talk more about color pie in Kaldheim. I have noticed that. Um, we all share a similar opinion about color pie, except I actually am fine with Feed the Swarm, though I do think just overall it does contribute to a trend. Just there's reasons behind Feed the Swarm that I personally agree with, but that's a whole nother episode. One thing that I'm noticing a lot is that WotC is designing cards in especially in standard sets for Commander. There'll be a video coming out soon, so this one probably won't be an episode, but I'm started writing a script to a video essay about how Commander is becoming a lot more spoon-fed to us. WotC just kind of like, oh, here comes the airplane, and shoving Omnath into our mouths. And the thing is,
Tasty.
When doing research for that video, because I did more than just like open up Scryfall. I did like real research as well with the Commander Rules Committee's past statements and all that. But I did look at how many legendary creatures have been printed in the past year, and almost every set had in between 15 to 25. I think Ikoria had 27, if I remember correctly.
Oh my god.
And it looks like I don't want to get too much into Kaldheim, but Kaldheim is Dominaria 2 Electric Boogaloo. They're having a legendary sub theme in the set. Which
yeah, it's getting kind of 2020 was the year of Commander, and what the year of Commander has showed me is that Commander is changing. It used to be, back in my day, you see something wacky and janky and you want to play with the cards that you can't make work in standard or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of WotC is like giving you cards and saying this is going to go great in your deck, and you don't have to work. Like Ancient Greed Warden, WotC's telling you, here, you have a landfall deck, put this in here. It makes your landfall deck better.
You want Boros to draw cards, you're playing equipment.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've learned from this past year. Like
they're building the decks for us, and it's just kind of lame.
I'm gonna go into that though. Please, I'm working really hard.
When can we get back to a simpler time of Tanawa?
Yeah, like I'm making a video, and it's gonna be out probably within the next month or two. That's my goal. That's like stretch goal. That's what I'm hoping for, because I still have a lot of work left to do on it. But it's called Commander Needs Tanawa. That's the name of the video. Please watch that when it comes out. It's gonna go in depth about this topic, and also something I've been noticing just in Commander products, and like in Commander products especially, is there's an increase in cards that are specifically referring to if you control your commander or in your commander's color identity. Like there's a lot of cards referring to the fact that this is to be played in Commander, and they're insanely good. Like Fierce Guardianship, Commander Plate. I think I could go into some examples of how it was done fine, but even like I love oozes, and it makes me sad that Bio-Waste Blob is our only ooze lord because I hate the card.
They're really good at printing busted cards that only work if you're playing Commander, so that it doesn't break like Legacy or something. Fierce Guardianship, Jeweled Lotus, they just they pretend like if they put Commander on it, then it's okay.
Yeah, it makes me upset, like because I like designing things. We'll see you later on. One day, maybe I'll actually get the balls to reveal some of the cards I've designed. And I don't like things like that. I think we're specifically referring to a format on a card is stupid. That's my...
Right, and the last thing that I want to mention in the trends section here is how we're finally starting to see how the one block sets are starting to affect deck construction. I'm talking about standard here.
Yeah,
when
specifically.
you're only on a and story kind of too. When you're only on a plane
Zendikar's
for
just
one
rushed.
set, it's really hard to have world building and a million mechanics in it at once. So, like you look at Theros, uh, they wanted to have escape be a card that people played, so they had to really push escape because they weren't going to have another chance to print any more escape cards because it's a one block set, right? So you get Uro and you get Underworld Breach. You go to Ikoria, and they really want people to play with companions, so they have to push them like hell because they're not gonna have another chance. Um, or you look at Zendikar, they just the rogue deck is literally just picking every card that says rogue in Zendikar and
I
putting it together in a deck, and you have your standard deck.
I
The
drafted
decks are becoming
rogues.
so
Or, I was about
so
to say.
homogenized and so pre-built because they have to push them and they have to like you just slap all of one mechanic in a deck and you got it because it's a one block sets.
I
You don't have options.
I drafted rogues recently. In Zendikar, I drafted rogues recently, and I genuinely, if I added 3 more Soaring Thought Thieves in, could take that into a standard event.
Yeah, I'm I'm
It's
I'm really not liking the one block structure,
me neither.
especially with the story too. Something
Same.
I didn't even mention. Like, what
Zendikar's was
even was a
rushed.
Korea story? What
Bad.
was that?
I'm glad on story. I am glad we're going back to articles. Although I do prefer the original like version of physical books where you'd get them with bundles. I do like articles at the moment, but Zendikar's story felt rushed. I don't even actually quite still know what happened at the end, because like it just ended all of a sudden because whoop, time to go to Kaldheim.
Speaking
Like,
of Kaldheim, Phyrexian's on Kaldheim in one block, and we've never even been there
Chris,
once.
that's not
How do you do
2020. We'll get
that?
there. We'll get there, Chris.
Sigh.
So this is stretching on for a while. I think we're already in like an hour and a half. So we only got a few more things to talk about. In the future, I wrote what do we hope to see out of Magic in 2020? I meant in 2021, what do we hope to see out of Magic? And like what do we want to see?
What do you
Anyone?
want to see, Nate?
What do I want to see? That's a damn good question. I personally I want to I, I, so we already know all of our sets,
Yeah, me
right?
too.
Like the thing is, I'm already just kind of getting disappointed in 2021 already just looking at Cowtime spoilers. It's already sad that one set's able to I can look at one set and see, oh my god, it's gonna be the exact same. But I want one thing I do want to see is I want to see how they do Time Spiral Remastered. I'm actually really, really excited for that. I want Fungi
Yeah.
to be in Time Spiral Remastered again. Um, I want to see. I do want to see Charity Secret Layers again. That's some actually I really liked International Women's Day and Extra Life, and I want to see. I want to see a gay secret layer specifically. That's something I want. I want a Pride one. Um, other than that, like I don't know. I guess maybe for them to stop shoving so many products down our throats, though that's not gonna fucking happen.
I want them. I have a few wants. I want less whale products. I want less $100+ products, which we got quite a few of this year. I want cards to be toned down. I want the power level just pulled back just a bit. It's still just a little bit too much. It's no 2019, but please just
I
give me a breather.
Gonna be fully honest, I
Um,
think 2020 is arguably worse than 2019 when it comes to power level. I think
I mean, there's no Teferis or Okos.
true.
There's no
Throne
Throne of
was
Eldraine this
yeah,
year.
Throne.
The only big one was Uro.
Omnom,
Yeah,
Arrow,
companions too.
Omnom,
Companions were
companions.
absolutely completely busted.
I think companions
Um,
is the strongest thing ever printed in Magic.
Probably, yeah. I
They
almost
were
agree
the
with that.
only. One of them was the
Luris,
only card to be banned in Vintage that wasn't like a
it's due to power. Yeah,
dexterity.
Yeah. Really, I just want them to get a hold of the game. I want them to stop trying to
cell packs.
yeah, I want them to stop worrying. I know this is crazy to ask a company to stop worrying about money, but like start focusing on making a good game first and sales will follow. Because I do not have 2020 has not left me with a good
but
impression of the direction that Magic is heading. I want them to
but
write the
there you go.
course and keep the longevity of the game in mind when designing cards.
But Christopher, Poppy Hasbro says I have to double my sales next year.
God, that's exactly why I think none of that's going to happen.
Yeah. Evan, anything you want to see before we move on to our couple last things?
I know we might not see it in 2021, but I'd really, really like them to return to blocks.
I do too.
But Matt, we've gone back. They've gone back a couple times to do things differently, and I think that they're finally struggling with how they're going to do it. Have an epiphany. They'll be like, blocks worked. Why do we get rid of them?
The reason why
it's just like so we can explore more planes. I get that, but why did we? Wasn't the point of the core set to explore more planes? So it's just like, I don't know. It feels. I know it's not going to be in 2021, but maybe too when we get to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. We can
Shut
have 3
up!
sets.
No! Don't bring up that name. I want to return to Kamigawa, but that's not something. We're not talking about Neon Dynasty in this episode. Wait until the set list, or wait until the sets for 2022 get spoiled.
Oh God, I'm scared.
God, same.
Same.
So, any predictions for this year? And don't talk about Kaldheim because we're in the middle of spoiler season. I think I wrote this before Kaldheim spoilers officially started.
Harry Potter Secret Lair.
I'm really thinking there's going to be a Harry Potter Secret Lair.
Modern Horizons 2 is going to completely break Modern. There's going to be like 5+ cards banned.
Yeah, that's just a no-brainer. That's not a prediction. That's bound to happen. I agree with the professor's prediction. I think there are going to be at least 50 Secret Lairs this year.
I can't imagine how they could double their output.
That seems
wacky to me.
Just instead of when you release bundles, instead of releasing like 5 Secret Lairs at once, release 10 or 14.
Don't even say that.
I hope you're wrong, Nate. I really, really hope
you're wrong. I also hope I'm wrong. I also hope that I'm wrong, but I know deep down inside, as much as I'm hoping, as much as I really don't want it to be right, I know deep down I'm probably at least close.
God, definitely more than this year. I can
definitely see at over 40 at least, because there was 27 this year. They're not going to do over 30. There's going to be at least 40. That's my. And somebody, if I'm wrong in a year, you guys can like dislike the video or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm totally gonna come back and remember that we said this and dislike the video.
I hope you do, Chris. You guys have any other predictions for the year? Other than Modern Horizons, anything like that? Are we good to move on?
Collector's boosters are going to stick around, and they're still going to suck.
Yeah, I like them in Commander Legends, because that's a set people actually want to collect, but they're going to be for every set. I could see them being cool in Time Spiral Remastered, because that's kind of a collectible set, but I don't think they need to be there for standard sets.
There's going to be production issues on a ton of products.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with WotC, though. Well, by production issues,
I think we're entering a period
or...
Sorry.
Hold up, yeah, before we talk about your standard, Chris, by production issues, do you mean quality control or physical, like, I can't produce this? Because I think we're going to have
absolutely both. I think they're going to do both. I mean, everybody knows card stock sucks right now, but they're also not going to supply, I don't know exactly which products, but some products are not going to be fully stocked, and so they're going to get price gouged. And you can say that it's not WotC's fault, and I agree with that to an extent, but they didn't have any trouble keeping standard sets in the fully stocked. So
then again, those
I'm not giving them
like
a full
year in
pass
advance for standard sets. But sure, I think Jumpstart and Mystery Boosters are a crime for why they weren't fully stocked. But speaking of quality control, I do want to just mention this somewhere. If we were getting pre-release promos in our normal Zendikar booster packs, I am scared to death. Oh, and people are finding Kaldheim cards and Commander Legends collector boosters. I'm scared of what's happening next year. Genuinely,
yeah,
I'm
dude,
scared
I bought
of the quality.
a Zendikar box and we drafted it, and Evan opened like 2 pre-release promos in the box, and I'm like, what? What is going on?
The fact that people are finding Kaldheim cards and collector boosters are also that baffles me.
Wacky.
How have they been doing this for 25 years plus? And this hasn't really happened since it was like 2016 when the grade. That's true, I guess.
Yeah. They're skimping out. They're choosing bad materials and bad producers because it makes them more money. And we continue to buy the product, so I guess they're right.
Yeah. Evan, you had a prediction about standard. We're going to say this, and then we need to move on. We need to do our outro.
So I think that we're entering a tribal period in standard, because I know that's like kind of a I know Zendikar gave us Party, which is kind of a tribal thing. It was like four tribes
Rogues.
coming together.
Gave us Rogues,
and then we're getting this, but tribal in this set, and I can't imagine that we're not getting tribal in Pokemon Red and Blue, featuring vampires and werewolves. So I just think that there's going to be a lot of tribal decks running around, whether they're werewolves or berserkers or rogues or whatever.
I'm here for it. I love tribal decks. I'm down. Bring on the tribal period of standard. I'm cool with it.
It's not gonna be Merfolk though.
Shut up.
It's gonna be Merfolk.
You don't have to remind me, okay, Chris? So, okay, gotta wipe my tears here. Overall, final closing thoughts. We've been going on for almost 2 hours. Actually, it's only an hour and a half. I'm exaggerating. Did we like Magic in 2020? Overall, can you say you enjoyed the game this year? Just like negative, if it's obviously negativity aside, but overall, can you say yes, I had fun with the game this year and the cards released this year? I can say yes.
I mean, I'm here on a Magic the Gathering podcast, so it's obviously not, pushed me completely out of the game. But I will say, I overall did not like Magic. What 2020 did to Magic this year. The game is really fun itself, but I think the game would be nothing but better if you completely just chopped off everything that happened in 2020. Like
you'd remove
every
boosters.
Set from Theros to what's the last set? Zendikar.
Commander Legends.
Everything from Theros, Commander Legends. If you chopped off Theros to Commander Legends from the game, I don't think you'd lose much of value or substance. I think the game would be better off in general.
So, overall, I kind of disagree with you, Chris. I did enjoy a lot of Magic in 2020. I do think Standard is in a shit place, but overall, I think the draft experience this year, like the limited experience, for as little as I got to do in person and what I got to do online, though, I think it was great. I had a lot of fun with just about every limited set this year. Cycling was obnoxious in Ikoria, but that's literally my only complaint about the format. Other than that, I really enjoy it. Mystery Boosters is probably going to, I need to get a pack of that for my collection. I love that product with all my heart, and I need to see more of it. Commander Legends, other than a few obnoxious cards, I thought was fine. I think every set this year had a few things or cards that I didn't like, but overall, I tended to enjoy the entire thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a lot more tolerant than you are, Chris, but overall, I can say yes.
I loved the limited set, the limited environments this year. Besides Commander Legends, which I was not particularly fond of, it was a little too grindy for me. They've continued their hot streak of good draft sets, but both the business practices, the bleeding of the color pie, the bannable cards every set, Uro, there's Uro this year.
God.
There were definitely good things, but I think we're 60% bad things, 40% good things. I don't think for the longevity of the game and Wizards' mindset, I really don't think this is much of a step forward from 2019, to be honest.
That's understandable. And then again, I also kind of enjoyed the game in 2019, so that says a lot about me. Evan, what's up with you?
I'm just God that we've had 24 years of Magic before this year, because if we started out like this, Magic would have crashed and burned immediately. I'm kind of in the middle. I think 2020 had some good, it had some bad. The bad might have outweighed the good a little, but it's fine. I just try to. Maybe I'm just being really optimistic or trying to be, but because I'm being dragged down by all this negative card. But it's just I don't know. I'm scared of the future, but I'm hoping it's good. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, 2020 has made me scared of new announcements. When WotC says they're doing something new, I'm no longer excited. My immediate thought is, how are they going to screw this up? The Walking Dead Secret Lair has burned me. I am no longer trustful of WotC. Magic is not in a good place right now. I do not think.
So overall, like the three of us, Chris, you said you view this more as a step back. Would you say you view this more as like a step backwards for Magic? Like, do you think?
See, I think it's better than 2019, but barely. And 2019 was a huge step back for Magic. So I'd say this is like
more to the side,
a half step backwards. Still a step backwards for sure. Yeah. Just slightly better than last year.
I view this more as a sidestep, if I'm going to be honest. Like in Magic's direction, like they're not moving forward, but they're definitely not moving forward. I cannot say, but there was a lot of cool stuff this year that I enjoyed quite a bit. There was a lot of cool designs and a lot of cool like I actually like the plane of Ikoria, and I love like the planes we visited, Ikoria, Zendikar, Theros. Those are cool. I like Commander Legends a lot, but there's a lot of negative things that happened. I tend to find myself whenever I talk about Magic, and I am just trying to be optimistic a bit here, because whenever I talk about Magic, I focus more on the bad, like a lot. Like I only talk about negative things that happen anymore, and you know there were some cool things that happened this year, but definitely more of like a sidestep. We kind of didn't move anywhere. I wouldn't call it fully backwards, but definitely not forward by any means of the imagination.
Yeah.
They did pretty good with reprints. I'll give them that.
Reprints were amazing this year. Karn Liberated went from a $70 to a $30 card, which is still a lot, but that's a huge price drop. That's insane. But yeah, is that it?
I think we've.
Oh, go ahead first.
Oh, yep. Okay, I think we've just been kind of standing still. We're kind of just doing the same thing we've been doing, prints and stuff. But like, when will this madness end? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know,
madness. That's what Magic is.
Mirrored block was a block. Urza block was a block. We've been in like 6 sets now. I think 4 or 5. I don't know.
2 years. We're going on year 2. Hopefully 2021 is not year 3, but with how Kaldheim's shaping up.
Right.
So, you know the cha-cha slide, right? You know how there's the like you hop forward, you hop back, left and right. We've been stuck in the cha-cha real smooth.
That certainly is an analogy, Nathan.
We've been stuck in the same place for like the past 2 years. And
cha-cha again. Cha-cha again for the next 7 sets.
Yeah, and I am worried that 2021 is going to be going on year 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep a positive mindset, but I'm not quite looking into 2021 with bright eyes and a bright smile.
Yeah, it's just, especially with how Kaldheim's shaping up, which we will get to that in our next episode.
Kaldheim is scaring me.
So, thank you guys.
Oh wait, it won't affect standard. That's all I'll
say. I see what you did there. Bad snow puns aside, I think. Did we just cover all of Magic in 2020 in like what, an hour and a half?
Oh god, we covered as much as we could, but
yeah, I think we left a lot out too. Like, I think there's still a lot that could be talked about, and we did broad strokes too. If we wanted to do an in-depth analysis, we'd be here for 4 hours. So,
oh god, my little heart can't take that much.
No, me too. I think all of us would be very upset by the end of this if we were doing in-depth analysis.
Just wait till the Color Pie episode. It's just gonna be all of us screaming at each other for an hour and a half.
I don't want to break my mic, so I'm physically going to like.
And you gotta put up the image of the brick wall that Chris sent.
Yes, I will.
That's the thumbnail.
Yeah. That'll be the thumbnail for the Color Pie episode. So if you made it here, if you made it to the end, if you turned this on while like just doing your work, congratulations. Leave your favorite thing about 2020, and if you leave, I don't know, we forgot. Leave something. Well, what's something we can tell them to leave in the comments that that I got all hearted
their
for?
Opinions on Magic in 2020.
That too. Well, I was thinking more like
favorite set from Kamigawa block.
Yeah, list your favorite Kamigawa block card in the comments, and I'll make sure to heart your comment.
Like you're not gonna heart any comment you get.
I'll heart all of them. I heart most though. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Do be sure to like and subscribe. I have a Twitch channel.
Yeah.
I have a Twitch channel that I make content for a lot more regularly. So go check out twitch.tv/Sevrios. Chris, where can we find you?
Have a Twitch channel?
I do have a Twitch channel, twitch.com/flappy172. I just finished up a Pokemon Nuzlocke, moving into some Shovel Knight King of Cards. Tuesdays at 7:30. Come join me.
And Evan, is there anything you don't have anything at the moment, do you?
But you should ring the bell, just cause.
Please ring the bell. Yeah, ring the bell for Evan. For me. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This 2020 sure was a year in Magic, and as much bad as there was, as much good as there was, it's still a fun game at the end of the day. And Rule Zero does exist for Commander, and just up to your playgroup. If you didn't like what came out this year, just say, hey, talk to your playgroup about it. If all else fails and they break the game enough, we can just outlaw new sets. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. That's gonna be the end. We'll see you guys around. Is there anything you guys want to say to the people?
Peace out, everybody.
Hasta la vista, ring the bell.
Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.